The message arrives not with fanfare, but with the quiet inevitability of destiny fulfilled. Perhaps it's an envelope slipped beneath your door as dawn breaks, thick and unmarked, carrying the weight of worlds within its plain paper shell. Maybe it's a small, nondescript package left on your porch, or a notification for a secure digital file sent from an anonymous encrypted source. However it manifests, the moment your fingers make contact, a jolt of pure recognition surges through you, a visceral, electric connection to the one who sent it. Your heart doesn't just race, it hammers against your ribs, a primal drumbeat echoing the seismic shift about to occur. The air around you crystallizes, charged and sacred, heavy with the presence of angels and the focused intent of the Spirit guiding this revelation. Hesitation might flicker, a natural human recoil from the unknown abyss of truth, but a deeper force, an unyielding pull from the core of your being, compels you forward. You open it. The first line, the curve of a familiar letter, the unique cadence of their phrasing even in written form, it hits you like a physical wave. Breath catches, sharp and sudden in your throat. Tears will instantly, not born of fresh grief for their absence, but from the overwhelming flood of their essence, their voice, their unwavering presence surrounding you once more, tangible and real within these words that burn with the intensity of a spirit unbound. This is no mere letter. It's a conduit, a bridge built from love spanning the chasm between life and afterlife. They begin not with the harshness of betrayal, but with a profound reminder of you. They speak of a strength they witnessed in you long forgotten, buried under layers of loss and confusion, that fierce core of resilience that surfaced when life crumbled before, that quiet determination they always admired even when you doubted it yourself. I always knew, they write, the words seeming to vibrate off the page or screen, deep in my soul, that you were destined not just to survive, but to rise again, phoenix-like, from the ashes. This truth I bring is not to break you, but to unleash that power within you, the power grief tried to smother. This affirmation, this bedrock belief in your inherent strength laid bare from beyond the grave, is the armor you need before the storm of revelation breaks. And break it does. Page by page, line by agonizing, liberating line, the meticulously documented truth unfurls like lightning across a darkened sky. The woman, her name is written clearly, dispelling any lingering shadow of doubt about who they mean. The description is chillingly precise. The way her long eyes would narrow almost imperceptibly when she thought no one was looking, the unnerving quality of her crooked smile that never quite reached the cold calculation behind her gaze. They detail her insidious manipulation, the fake kindness poured like poison sugar, the twisted jealousy that festered like a hidden rot, poisoning her every interaction with you. They recount how she studied you, learned your vulnerabilities, your routines, your moments of weakness, not to comfort, but to exploit. They saw her positioning herself, a spider weaving a web designed to ensnare your peace, your resources, perhaps even your very identity after they were gone. But they didn't just observe, they acted. With the clarity of love's fierce protection, they provide not just the exposure, but the key to severing her influence forever. Step-by-step instructions are laid out, specific actions to take, words to say or not to say, boundaries to erect with unshakable firmness. It's a battle plan forged in the silent warrior's waves on your behalf. Then comes the second blow, the name that sends a fresh chill down your spine, the man. Perhaps someone who emerged in the periphery after your loss, offering a helping hand, a sympathetic ear, appearing almost too conveniently supportive. The letter strips away the facade. His help, they write with stark clarity, is not pure. He is not a bystander. He is intricately connected, a partner in the scheme. Together, they formed an axis of betrayal, their intentions converging on what they believed would be an easy target once your primary protector was gone: your stability, your assets, your future. The letter reveals the nature of their partnership, how he provided cover, access, or resources the woman alone couldn't muster, how their collaboration was masked by layers of plausible deniability and false camaraderie. Your loved one, your astute guardian from the beyond, traced their hidden communications, noted their clandestine meetings, understood the division of their dark labor. They planned, the message states unequivocally, to take what was meant to be yours, what I ensured would anchor your future. The sheer audacity, the cold calculation revealed is staggering. Yet, woven into this painful exposure is a testament to their brilliance even in the face of death. I outwitted them. The words resonate with a quiet, posthumous triumph. They explain the intricate measures taken to ensure the message bypassed any interception. Encoded references, dead drops, trusted intermediaries operating under strict spiritual compacts known only to them and the angels. It was a final, flawless maneuver executed from the threshold of eternity. As you absorb each sentence, the scales fall from your eyes. Memories snap into sharp, agonizing focus. That offhand comment from the man that now rings with hidden meaning, the woman's overly insistent concern about a particular document, the strange coincidence of items disappearing shortly after she visited, the inexplicable technical glitches blocking important communications that always seem to happen when pressure mounted from their direction. Lies you unconsciously accepted, or half-truths that clouded your judgment, shattered like glass. The confusing mosaic of the past year rearranges itself into a horrifyingly clear picture of targeted malice. The message doesn't stop at revelation. It becomes a map. Look next, it directs, behind the old painting in the hallway, the one we found at the flea market that summer, or inside the false back of the bottom shelf in the linen cupboard. Specific intimate locations only the two of you knew held significance or were used for playful hiding spots. Following these instructions feels like a sacred pilgrimage. Your hands might tremble as you move the familiar painting, revealing a recess you never noticed. There it is, a simple, sturdy box, perhaps wooden, perhaps metal, untouched by time or the betrayer's prying eyes. Opening it releases a scent of old paper, faint traces of cologne or perfume, a unique smell of them preserved. Inside, tangible proof, faded letters exchanged in happier times, photographs capturing moments of pure joy that now feel like precious armor against the ugliness revealed, and crucially, a small, unassuming flash drive. Inserting it feels like unlocking a hidden dimension. Files blossom on the screen. Scanned documents, saved text messages, voice recordings, financial trails, a meticulously compiled dossier of evidence your loved one gathered at immense personal risk. It's overwhelming, a deluge of truth confirming every word in the letter and adding layers of damning detail. Dates, amounts, transcribed conversations, digital footprints, the hidden world they uncovered unfolds before you, irrefutable and chilling. Amongst the revelations is one of profound generosity and foresight, a bank account. Not just any account, but one established quietly, in your name alone, unknown to you until this moment. This, the letter explains, is the beginning of your freedom. Not merely financial, though it will lift that burden, but spiritual. It is the foundation for the future I dream for you. The future I fought to secure even as my own light dimmed. I had to wait. Wait until you were ready to receive it. Ready to wield it not just for survival, but for thriving. The amount, the accessibility, it's a tangible manifestation of their enduring protection, a resource planted long ago meant to blossom now in this moment of your awakening. As you absorb this, a familiar scent washes over you, impossibly strong and clear. A sudden, inexplicable chill raises goosebumps on your arms, followed by an almost imperceptible whisper in your ear, a sensation of warmth and pressure on your shoulder. It's not imagination, it's confirmation. They are here, guiding, supporting, witnessing your courage as you unlock each devastating, liberating clue. The deeper you delve into the evidence, the more remarkable transformation occurs within. The crushing weight of victimhood, the feeling of being adrift and powerless in the wake of loss, begins to lift. It doesn't vanish. Grief remains a complex landscape, but it transmutes. The raw pain finds a new channel, morphing into a fierce, crystalline purpose. You are no longer merely the one who was left behind, drowning in sorrow. You are the one chosen and empowered to finish what they courageously started. You are the inheritor not just of assets, but of their mission to expose darkness and reclaim light. Emboldened by the instructions in the letter, you pick up the phone and dial the number written at the end, a number for a law firm, accompanied by a specific case reference and a name to ask for. A professional, calm voice answers. You state your name, your voice perhaps thick with emotion but resolute. You give the reference. There's a pause, then recognition. "We've been expecting your call," the lawyer confirms, a note of solemn understanding in their tone. "For months." "Hold on, I'm sending the file to your email now. Please review it. It contains everything prepared according to your loved one's very specific, very thorough instructions." The email notification pings. Opening the attachment feels like turning a key in a long-locked vault. These are properties you never knew they owned. Meticulously updated insurance policies naming you as beneficiary. Legal documents establishing trusts, detailed records of investments made quietly over the years. A comprehensive, love-driven legacy plan unfolds. Amongst the dry legal language, one detail leaps out: a house. Not just bricks and mortar, but a home. The one they use to describe in quiet moments, sketching floor plans on napkins, dreaming of gardens and shared sunrises, the sanctuary they envision for your shared future. The deed, the lawyer's covering note explains, was transferred solely into your name 6 months before their passing. They wanted no fanfare, no pressure. Only the certainty that you would have a foundation, a place of your own peace when the time was right. The magnitude of this silent sacrifice, this profound act of faith and foresight, washes over you. While the world saw them perhaps fading, they were fiercely building, securing, loving you from a future they knew they wouldn't inhabit physically. News, as it often does in small worlds, travels fast. Or perhaps it's a sudden shift in your energy, the newfound stillness, the absence of frantic searching, the quiet confidence replacing the aura of vulnerability. The woman and the man sense the tectonic plates shifting beneath their carefully constructed facade. Their reactions are textbook, just as the letter predicted. A sudden, conspicuous silence from one, an unnerving, overly effusive friendliness from the other. They are scrambling, trying to gauge how much you know, attempting damage control with clumsy maneuvers that only confirm their guilt. The message had foreseen this panic, this shift from predator to cornered prey. They will apologize, it warned. They may even beg, weaving tales of misunderstanding or coercion. Do not mistake it for remorse. It is pure, unadulterated fear. Fear of exposure, fear of consequences, fear of the fortress of truth you now inhabit. Armed with this foresight, you observe their flailing not with vindictiveness, but with a profound, almost detached clarity. You are no longer playing on their chessboard. You carry within you not just your own spirit, tempered now by fire, but the indomitable legacy of the one who loved you enough to shield you from beyond the grave. This dual strength makes you immovable. A subtle change manifests in your very being. You walk differently, shoulders back, head held higher, a grounded certainty in your step. Your eyes, once clouded with grief and confusion, now hold a steady, calm light that seems to emanate from within. People sense it. The energy you project is no longer one of lack, but of quiet, unassailable power. Those drawn to light and authenticity begin to gravitate towards you, offering genuine connection. Those who thrived on your perceived weakness or confusion subtly withdraw, repelled by the strength they can no longer manipulate. And then, perhaps when you least expect it, yet precisely when the divine timing aligns, you meet someone new. It's not a dramatic encounter, but a quiet recognition. A person whose energy feels like a balm. Not the intense, sometimes chaotic passion of youth, but a deep, resonant peace. They don't try to fix your grief or fill the void left by your loss. Instead, they meet you where you are, witnessing your journey with respect and a quiet admiration for your resilience. There's a familiarity in their presence, not as a replacement, but as an echo of what love felt like before the trauma, before the betrayal, pure, supportive, and inherently safe. This connection doesn't feel accidental. The letter's promise whispers in your heart. This person was aligned with your soul's journey the moment your loved one crossed over. They've been held in the divine waiting pattern, their path gently steered towards this intersection. You, standing strong in your truth, radiating the light reclaimed through struggle, are the divine signal they've been awaiting. Your readiness has summoned them. From their vantage point in the realms of pure love and light, your beloved guardian watches this unfolding not with jealousy or sadness, but with radiant, boundless joy. Their deepest prayer has been answered. You are safe. You are empowered. You are stepping into the future they fought so hard to secure. The haunting quality of their visits and dreams transforms. Now they appear more clearly not as shadowy figures of sorrow, but as beings of light. Sometimes they simply stand in your dreamscape, radiating warmth and approval. Sometimes they offer that familiar, beloved smile, a smile free of earthly pain, filled only with pure love and pride. The lingering doubt, the question of was it just my imagination, vanishes. You know it's real. You finally heard their truth. You accepted its painful brilliance, and you acted with the courage they always knew you possess. That validation, that completed circuit of love and trust across dimensions, makes their presence undeniable. The journey isn't over. It's ascended to a new plane. Within the trove of documents, or perhaps mentioned in a final addendum to the letter, you find it their journal. Not the official records, but the raw, unfiltered chronicle of their inner world, particularly during those final months. Opening it is daunting. The pages speak of their private struggles, the physical toll, the moments of fear they shielded you from, the anguish of carrying the burden of the truth alone. Yet, woven through this vulnerability are golden threads of devotion, powerful testaments to the depth of their love for you. Your name appears again and again, not just in passing, but as an anchor, a source of strength. Seeing their smile today gave me the will to keep searching. One entry might read. Hearing them laugh, even amidst all this darkness, reminded me what I'm fighting for, confesses another. They are my reason, a simple, powerful line declares. When the weariness threatens to pull me under, I think of their future, the light in their eyes, and I find the strength for one more step. Reading these intimate revelations is like receiving 1,000 posthumous embraces. You see with heart-wrenching clarity how profoundly you impacted their life, how you were their harbor, their inspiration, their only peace in a chaotic world. The journal doesn't shy away from the darkness they face, but it ultimately shines a light on the incredible power you held for them, often without even knowing it. You gave me hope. One poignant entry states, even when I was bone tired and soul weary, you were my reason to fight. Now, the baton passes definitively. The message, the journal, the legacy, they all point to one inescapable conclusion. Now it's your turn. Your turn to fight, not against phantoms, but for yourself, for the future they envisioned and secured, for the truth that has set you free, and for everything that is rightfully yours to claim and build upon. Their final written words, perhaps scrawled with fading strength but eternal intent, resonate like a timeless hymn within your spirit. I will always be closer than you think. And now, standing in the radiant aftermath of revelation, fortified by truth and sustained by love that transcends death, you finally understand. The scent of flowers when none are present, the specific song playing at a meaningful moment, the sudden intuitive knowing guiding a decision, the warmth on your cheek on a cold day, these are not coincidences. They are love notes from beyond, affirmations of their enduring presence. Every choice you make now is touched by their unwavering support. Every path you walk is shielded by their eternal vigilance. You are divinely protected. You are divinely favored. Archangel Michael's assurance rings true. The celestial hosts walk beside you. So step forward. Not with the trepidation of the lost, but with the quiet, unshakable power of the found. Move with the certainty of truth illuminating your way and the eternal fire of love fueling your spirit. The chains are broken. The shadows are dispelled. The future, bathed in the light they fought for, awaits your embrace. Their physical departure was not an ending, but the necessary catalyst for this profound awakening. They handed you a torch ignited by their sacrifice and their love. And now, blazing brightly, guided by angels and guarded by a love stronger than death, you are the light in the darkness. The truth you carry is an unassailable fortress. The inheritance of spirit, wisdom, protection, and purpose is irrevocably yours. Your journey, the one they safeguard with their very being, has only just begun its most radiant chapter. And somewhere beyond the veil, in a realm of pure peace and boundless joy, they smile, their spirit whispering on a wind that now only carries blessings. You're doing exactly what I knew you would. You are finally free. The freedom promised wasn't merely an abstract concept. It began to manifest in the tangible world, a direct consequence of the truth unveiled and the strength reclaimed. The house they left you, the one sketched on napkins, dreamed of in hushed whispers, wasn't just a structure waiting somewhere. It was a living symbol of their foresight, imbued with their energy. Stepping through its front door for the first time, key in hand, felt less like entering a new space and more like stepping into a long-awaited embrace. The air itself held a familiar warmth, an echo of their presence woven into the very walls. You could almost see them there, pointing out where the sunlight would flood the kitchen in the morning, where the bookshelf should go, where you could curl up with a view of the garden they envisioned. It wasn't furnished with their physical belongings, but it was furnished with their intent, their deep desire for you to have sanctuary, stability, and a foundation built on love, not deceit. The process of claiming it, facilitated by a lawyer who had been patiently holding the space, unfolded with an almost eerie smoothness, guided by the meticulous instructions left behind. Signing the final papers wasn't a bureaucratic act. It was a sacred ritual, an acceptance of the future they had silently constructed brick by loving brick while facing their own mortality. The financial legacy revealed in that hidden account ceased to be just a number on a screen. It transformed into wings. It lifted the crushing weight of mere survival, replacing frantic worry with the profound luxury of choice. It wasn't about extravagance, but about breathing room. The space to heal without the constant gnawing of financial anxiety, the freedom to explore paths previously closed, the ability to invest in your own growth and dreams, just as they had invested in your security. This tangible security became the bedrock upon which your spiritual and emotional liberation could truly flourish. You began to give back, naturally, organically, not from a place of obligation, but from the overflowing wellspring of gratitude and the hard-won understanding of what true darkness felt like. Supporting others navigating the treacherous waters of grief, betrayal, or spiritual confusion became a calling. In the circles you joined, or perhaps even initiated, your voice carried a unique resonance, not preaching but witnessing. You spoke not just of loss, but of the phoenix-like rise through loss, of discerning truth from illusion, of recognizing the subtle manipulations the letter had exposed. And within every word of comfort offered, every insight shared about trusting intuition or setting boundaries against toxic energy, there echoed unmistakable timbre of the one you lost. Their wisdom, forged in the fire of their own sacrifice, flowed through you, a living legacy guiding others towards their own light. This wasn't usurping their voice. It was amplifying it, allowing their protective love to ripple outwards, touching lives they never knew, fulfilling their unspoken wish to shield not just you, but others walking similar shadow paths. Months flowed into seasons. The initial, raw intensity of the confrontation and revelation settled into a deep, resonant hum within your being. The world didn't magically become perfect, but your relationship to the world underwent a fundamental shift. You stood differently, literally and figuratively. On a stage, perhaps, sharing your story not as a victim, but as a testament to resilience and divine orchestration, your posture radiating a calm authority born from having stared into the abyss of betrayal and emerged stronger. Or maybe it was simply sitting at your own desk, crafting a new business plan fueled by the security they provided, or feeling the smooth leather of the steering wheel in the reliable car they had ensured you could afford. Success, in whatever form it took, ceased to be a solitary achievement. It felt like a shared victory, a continuation of the love story that death could not end. Each milestone, each moment of quiet contentment became a silent communion, a whispered thank you sent across the veil. And then life, in its profound generosity, offered the next unexpected gift, deepening connection. The new person who had entered your orbit, the one whose energy felt like peace, began to weave themselves into the fabric of your days with a gentle, unwavering consistency. It wasn't a whirlwind romance designed to erase the past, but a slow, steady sunrise illuminating a new landscape. They understood the sacred ground they walked upon. They didn't flinch from the lingering echoes of grief, or the moments when a scent, a song, or a specific slant of light would pull you momentarily back into the ache of absence. Instead, they offered a quiet, steadfast presence, a hand to hold without needing to fix the unfixable. They respected the journey etched on your soul, the battles fought and won with the guidance of a love from beyond. Together, you built something entirely new, yet rooted in the profound lessons hard. One through fire, radical honesty became the cornerstone, eliminating the fertile ground where secrets or hidden agendas could ever take root again. Open communication replaced the suffocating silence of past betrayals. Trust wasn't demanded. It was earned daily through actions aligned with words, a stark contrast to the duplicity you had endured. This relationship felt less like finding a replacement and more like discovering a harmonious new movement in the symphony of your life, a movement composed with the same depth and integrity your lost love had always valued, a life they had explicitly dreamed for you long before you dared believe it possible. Their letter, physically stored away perhaps, had ended, but its resonance vibrated perpetually within you. It hadn't just delivered truth. It had planted a potent seed deep within your spirit, the seed of unshakable self-worth, the seed of trust in divine timing, the seed of knowing you are eternally loved and protected. That seed had now burst forth, its roots anchoring you in newfound strength, its branches reaching towards a future bathed in authentic light. The peace you experienced now wasn't passive. It was dynamic, a hard-earned serenity born from facing the darkness and reclaiming your light. Sleep, once a battlefield of strange, unsettling dreams and subconscious dread, became a true sanctuary. You drifted off wrapped in a profound sense of safety, the lingering whispers of fear replaced by a pervasive, gentle calm. The night held no terrors because you knew with bone-deep certainty that celestial guardians and a fiercely loving spirit stood sentinel. The message, the tangible proof of their enduring protection and the betrayal exposed, was no longer just paper or digital data. It was sealed within the very core of your soul, carried forward like a sacred scroll containing the map of your liberation. What had been revealed wasn't merely for closure, to tie up loose ends. It was the catalyst for a profound rebirth. You were no longer defined by the role of the one left behind, weighed down by grief and victimhood. You had become the active, empowered continuation of their love, a love that refused to be silenced by death, a love that orchestrated its own powerful legacy. As you closed your eyes each night, the feeling of their presence solidified. It wasn't just a hope, it was a knowing. And on one such quiet evening, as you lay in the profound stillness of your safe haven, their final, timeless assurance washed over you, clear as a bell, asterisk, I didn't leave you. I just became the wind beneath your wings. Asterisk, and the undeniable truth of that resonated in every cell. You were flying, soaring above the landscapes of past pain, navigating currents of possibility with a confidence and grace that once felt impossible, propelled by an eternal love that had transformed, not ended. Years flowed like a river, smoothing the sharpest edges of grief, yet the essence of the connection, the profound impact of the truth revealed, remained vibrant, woven into the very tapestry of your being. The memory lingered not as a painful scar, but as the rich, fertile soil from which your current strength blossomed, like the deep, grounding scent of rain long after a storm has passed, nourishing the roots of who you had become. You had changed fundamentally, irrevocably. It wasn't just in the outward markers of success or stability, but in the quiet depths, the unshakable core forged in the fires of revelation and loss. The person who once broke down in silence, suffocating tears of confusion and despair was gone. In their place stood someone others now sought out, for counsel, for strength, for that quiet light that seemed to emanate from a place of profound inner knowing. You had become a beacon not because you shouted your story, but because the peace and power you radiated were palpable. Everything that had once confused, every tangled thread of deceit and hidden motive, now existed within a framework of profound understanding. The chaos had resolved into a complex, yet ultimately coherent divine tapestry. You saw the purpose behind the pain, the necessity of the trials. The betrayal orchestrated by the woman and her accomplice hadn't been a random cruelty. It had been the harsh catalyst forcing you to shed an old skin, to confront illusions, and ultimately to step into the immense power and purpose that awaited on the other side of that crucible. The house they left you had become more than a sanctuary. It was a living testament, a hub of light. People drawn to authenticity seemed to find their way to your door. Friends seeking solace, strangers guided by intuition, fellow travelers on the path of spiritual awakening. Within its walls, the energy felt charged with protection and positivity, a direct result of the love embedded in its foundation and the truth that had consecrated its space. Conversations flowed deep. Laughter rang genuine, and healing happened organically. It was the home they dreamed of, alive with the purpose they ensured you could fulfill. The financial stability they provided continued to be a tool, not an end. It fueled not just comfort, but meaningful contribution, supporting causes they cared about, helping individuals facing hardships you understood intimately, funding projects that spread light and fostered community. It was money transforming into active love, circulating good in the world, multiplying the impact of their final profound gift. The new relationship deepened into a profound partnership, a union built on the bedrock of shared values and hard-won wisdom. There were quiet evenings spent reading in companionable silence, adventures exploring new horizons, the simple, profound joy of building a shared life free from the shadows of the past. The lost love wasn't a ghost haunting this new happiness. They were its silent architect, its benevolent witness. There were moments, often during times of particular joy or peace, when you'd feel a familiar, comforting warmth envelop you, or catch a fleeting scent of their signature fragrance on an impossible breeze, subtle affirmations that they were present, sharing in your contentment, their joy mirroring your own. You understood now with absolute clarity that love transcends every boundary, physical, temporal, dimensional. It is an eternal current, a force that connects, protects, and guides, even when the physical vessel is gone. The journal, finally read in its entirety, offered not just validation, but profound healing. Witnessing their private struggles, their moments of fear and weariness they shielded you from, dissolved any lingering residue of survivor's guilt. You saw the depth of their courage, the sheer willpower it took to maintain their protective facade while battling their own internal storms. More importantly, you saw the radiant, unwavering thread of your influence running through their darkest hours. Your presence, your laughter, your simple acts of kindness were consistently recorded as lifelines, sources of immeasurable strength and hope. You were my anchor, one entry confessed. In the tempest, your existence was a star I navigated by. Reading this shifted your perspective forever. You realized you weren't just the protected. You were profoundly the protector too, simply by being your authentic self, by loving them. This reciprocal, sustaining power of your bond became the ultimate revelation, far surpassing the exposure of external betrayal. The final page of the journal held their closing benediction, words that now live within you. Asterisk, I knew you'd rise, and I knew you'd forgive yourself. Asterisk, that single sentence held the power to shatter the last invisible chains, the chains of self-doubt, the subtle blame you might have harbored for not seeing what they saw, the burden of what if. Reading it under the soft light of your new home, perhaps with the peaceful presence of your partner nearby, it didn't break you. It broke open the final chamber of your heart, where old pain and regret had hidden. It was an explosion of pure liberation, a forgiveness granted from beyond that finally allowed you to forgive yourself fully, releasing the last vestiges of the past weight. You held the journal, a tangible piece of their soul, to your chest, looked up through tears of pure release not at a ceiling, but through it towards the infinite expanse where they resided, and whispered aloud, the words carrying the weight of a vow finally fulfilled. I heard you. I'm listening now. The response was immediate, undeniable. The room, already warm, seemed to fill with a golden light, though no lamp was brighter. The scent of roses, their favorite, bloomed intensely in the air for a fleeting, perfect moment. Outside, wind chimes they had gifted you long ago began to sing a clear, sweet melody, though not a breath of wind stirred the still night. It was a symphony of affirmation, a cascade of blessings acknowledging your journey, your courage, your acceptance, and your arrival into the fullness of the freedom and love they had fought so fiercely to secure. The spirit that had walked beside you unseen for so long hadn't departed. It had merged with your own radiant light. You were truly, irrevocably free. And the world, sensing this profound liberation, began to respond with an abundance that mirrored your inner state. Opportunities aligned with your purpose seemed to materialize effortlessly. Calls came from people who had once faded into the background, now drawn back by the authentic light you emitted. Your very presence became a magnet for positivity and growth. You had done what few possessed the courage to do, faced the deepest betrayal, uncovered hidden truths, navigated the labyrinth of grief, and emerged not merely intact, but radiantly whole, carrying the unquenchable torch of a love that death itself could not dim. The journey continued. An open road stretching towards horizons bright with promise, walked not alone, but hand in hand with the eternal echo of a love that had become the very wind beneath your wings. If this message spoke to your soul, like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe. This is just the beginning.